Okay, we'll call the meeting to order and Andy will lead us in prayer.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for today, Father God. Father God, we thank you for our students, Lord Jesus. Thank you for the school. Father God, we just ask special blessing over this board today, Father God. And that each decision that is made today that glorifies you, Lord Jesus. We thank you and we adore you. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. And to kick off the meeting, we will start with the August 25 public hearing.
Yep, this is the public hearing for the proposed budget for 2025-26, which is on the screen, and the proposed tax rate. And these are numbers that you all have been looking at for the last two board meetings, the ones that were posted in the newspaper. And so this public hearing is opportunity for anyone in our stakeholder group to be here and ask questions or register their either favor or disfavor with what we've been looking at. Bert's not saying a word on it. I told her if I used any cuss words not to write them down.
She probably knows more about it than
And so, I mean, these are the numbers that we'll discuss later. In the binders that you've had the last two meetings, this is the same. And as I've told you all, the tax rate, you formally acted last time or time before to give me the authority to be the tax rate determiner, which it doesn't matter. We're locked at that tax rate and have been for 3 years. And then here's the function by function version of that. If you got any questions about those functions, you can fire them. Any as a general rule, the state likes for at least 65% of your money to be spent on functions like the instructional part. You probably heard that at board training somewhere or another.
I thought it was closer to 80, but
Well, if it dropped
pretty
below
high,
65, they come asking hard questions. Like, how much are you paying the superintendent? Those kinds of things. I don't know, I suppose we scheduled 10 minutes for this, but I don't know that we need to wait 10 minutes for it. If there's no stakeholders here that want to make comments about it, I suppose you can adjourn the public hearing and then we can convene the regular session if you want.
okay, we'll need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Tony makes a motion to adjourn. Amy seconds, all in favor?
And then if you're ready, you can open.
We'll call back, we'll go back to our open the called meeting and start with the principal report. Mr. Humphries.
Doesn't seem like long ago we were together.
It
So,
was not.
We'll have a ton of stuff. I'm gonna start with student enrollment. Did go back and look at last year. We're at 186. That number will change to 185. We're waiting on one junior high withdrawal officially, but a year ago we were at 174 to give you a barometer to compare to. So good numbers there. And I suspect that student will possibly come back at some point, just had a change and went to live with another parent. So I think we'll probably get that student back. I don't think it's a permanent change. Hopefully not, but first 2 weeks of school went really well, really smooth. There haven't been major things, just getting started. Been in classes and classrooms, and teachers are doing a good job, and kids have, taken off. The big statewide ending cell phone thing hasn't been that big of a deal. It's like, I didn't think it would be a big deal. We have kids with their cell phones, but not been a big deal. But put up in class. I would say that, and we did not make a big deal out of it, thank God, and it's not a big deal, so it's been good. I'm not saying it won't be a deal at times in the spring and stuff like that, but they're keeping them put up and, handling that well, so I appreciate that. I'll do the accountability rating last. Tomorrow's when it really gets rolling. We start up extracurriculars, and so, we have cross-country tomorrow. High school runs at 9, junior high runs at 4:15 at Haskell. So that starts off the week's activities, as you know. Thursday, we'll be on a pep rally schedule, get out at 3 o'clock, have our pep rally. Birds play Ira at 8 o'clock. That's day one with 2 games, and Friday is 2 games, and Saturday is 5 games. So lots of football going on. And we do have a Labor Day holiday on Monday for those that didn't get enough
Do we?
football. We do.
I hadn't even looked.
We do. Monday is, but we're already in September, so it's crazy. So, fast and furious, but, been good, been really good. Things have flowed well and things are going well. God willing, they'll continue to go well. So it's been a great start to the year. Don't remember, a smoother one in recent history for me personally. So it's been really good. Appreciative of that. Accountability ratings, and we got them both back because was 24 held up in the courts? Is that what it was?
Yeah, 23 and 24
Yeah,
were held up in court. 23 got released about a month ago.
So they released
Those are
our
up on the screen
accountability
here.
ratings, and so there's an interesting, on there, you can see the 2 years. What they do is they let you calculate, you can use 2 ways to calculate, and I explain that. The first numbers, student achievement is how we did on STAR, how we're doing in CCMR, how we're doing our graduation rates. That is 70% of your score, no matter how you do. So that's the big weight. When you go underneath that, we have school progress. And so they're gonna rate you. You can pick whichever of the higher 2 numbers there, or it will pick it for you. Academic growth. And so, you're gonna get one of those 2 is gonna probably be higher for specific reasons. Academic growth is harder to achieve if you're meeting and mastering grade level. I mean, you don't have much to go up. So academic growth, we're a C there, according to that. But if you look at relative performance is apples to apples. They find schools that are like us, that have the same eco-dis populations of students. We're in 88, so we're in the 88th percentile when you compare us to other schools. And then you look at closing the gaps, and closing the gaps is how are we serving our eco-dis students? How are we serving our different ethnic groups? How are we serving our special ed pops? How are we serving our special pops? And we're at 94. So those bottom 3 numbers, whichever's highest is what you'll represent with. And so that's the other 30% would be a 94 for that. And so that's kind of and so what that does is, and what that's put in for is for schools that aren't performing well, it gives them an option to have a growth measure and have growth. But when you're performing well, your academic growth is not going to be as high. So that was 24 and 25, and they're fairly comparative. Again, we did drop a little bit in academic growth, but our numbers are still relatively the same. Our APS ops did change a little bit over those 2 years, but that's kind of how that is how the accountability is calculated. To get distinctions, you have to be divided into separate campuses, and because we're one school, one campus, you're not allowed to get distinctions. If we were separate campuses, we would get distinctions, but it keeps your high school from getting distinctions. But it's a much easier way to help with your accountability, and it's what most districts use as far as that goes. So, that's that. Any questions? Again, proud of those numbers, and hope we'll continue to go on and continue. And as I've talked about prior, continue to try to, get those meets up to mastery level. One of our goals, and again, work towards that, work toward higher cognitive thinking questions and teaching that, which is beneficial to students as they go, and especially post-secondary. So.
Thank you, Mr. Humphries. Next, we'll move to Mr. Coulter.
So on the screen, you'll see some images that you're familiar with, I think, from board trainings, in our board policy book, and then in state law. This this framework is what they call the School Board Development Framework. It's basically the lenses, I guess, through which you look at the work that the six of us, maybe there'll be 8 one day, do this work together, the collaborative work. And the bottom half of the screen is just a different way to look at it from an input output rather than as separate functions. It's sort of how the process gets deployed. Jamie just talked to you about our accountability ratings. And it's that the whole thing's built on test scores. And so this is going to be a sermon. So if you want to go to sleep, go now. But I promise it not make it very long. I'm constantly looking at what do I, and as Jamie will tell you and Keith will tell you, through the professional development days that we had week before last, I just hammer away on with teachers. Look 20 years down the road. What do you want your kids to have learned from you that's going to help them be good citizens, productive citizens? What do they need to know and be able to do to be good and productive citizens? So very quickly, Dr. Howard Gardner at Harvard came up with this multiple intelligence theory, and that's 30 years old. Still a nice way to think about what we want to teach our kids about. And according to Dr. Gardner, each one of us is born with some degree of intelligence in all 9 of those areas. Obviously, some of us are born with more musical inclination than others, and there's different ways to look at that. But that's a good way to think about what we're trying to do here. Because, for instance, we have people like my son-in-law, Jody, that can just touch a plant and it starts growing. And then we also have people, someone in my family, that when you ask them if they went to Hamlin, they say, did we go through Spur to get there? And no spatial intelligence, or very little. So it's another way to look at it. I've shown this to you before. And some of you have probably done the Clifton Strengths test, which is developed on the Gallup people, the Gallup poll people, on the skills and attributes that are necessary for you to be successful in the workplace. Again, it's a different way of thinking. What do we know and need to be able to do in order to be successful, productive, happy citizens that contribute? Another way to think of it, and I can rattle off several names. I mentioned earlier my affinity for Steph when she was a student here. But I can rattle off several names, I won't, of students that I had when I was a teacher and a coach and a principal here that had academic IQ out the roof, could not get along when they were 7th graders, couldn't get along when they were 10th graders, and I won't say names or ages, but they're still having a little trouble. And so it's the absence of that emotional social intelligence, which is so important in the workplace. Those are skills and things that we can develop and work with our students, but they're not tested on the STAR test. They're not tested on ELCs. Dr. Tom Vander Ark, who I've done some work with from out in Arizona, he and his team have come up with this way to think of what students need to in order to be successful, happy citizens, and they break it into those categories, which sort of like the multiple intelligences thing, but this is more of a taxonomy of the kinds of activities students need to be exposed as. Service, like the big event in the spring, which is just marvelous. And not many schools can even pull that off. Taking courses and classes, which they all do. Employment, work-based learning, civic engagement. And like, I'm going to I'll just go ahead and sing the praises for Josh and taking the football team to serve meals at the homeless shelter Sunday before last. That's civic engagement, and it's meaningful, powerful stuff with regard to our children's growth. This is one of my least favorite conceptualizations, because it's purely contrivance that, because all those categories are the same and all of them have exactly 10 subcategories, which tells me they were really working to make it pretty. But the idea is the same, that there's different dimensions that we need to be trying to address with our students to help them as they grow. And then finally, the work of the McKinsey Group, which I've shared with you before, they think these are the 56 elements that will be required in the workforce in the next couple of 3 decades for folks that want to rise to the top, be successful, happy. So my point is this, and the sermon's almost over. I love making A's on the accountability system, and I want us to keep making A's on the accountability system. But that is, in my way of thinking, that is not enough. That is not enough. And we're situated in just a marvelous school and with good folks. And you troublemakers are late.
Sorry, have a business.
You're gonna have to go to IS lunch detention. It's her fault. I've heard that before too. If y'all wanted to see the budget and tax proposal, you'll have to see it later on. You missed the hearing part.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. But anyway, my point is this. As long as you all have me sitting here in this chair, you're gonna have to listen to this stuff. Because I think our focus has to be on that. Because she has kids here. Well, all of you have kids here. I have grandkids here. He has grandkids here. Her kids are gone. And as I mentioned this earlier in the summer, when we hired Amanda and Crystal, I never dreamed it, but I think it's very likely I had a hand in hiring a teacher that may teach my great-grandchildren. And so to me, we have got to be just hyper-focused on learning, and learning is a very abstract word. And so what I'm trying to show you in these things, I think we can have conversations about what we mean and what we collectively understand when we talk about we want to optimize the learning for our kids. So last May in San Antonio, Kinsey loves it when I use these metaphors. That's the hotel room that Mo and I were staying at during the state tennis tournament in which Sean and Griff were playing. And I'm always thinking about, well, I don't sleep very well, but I was looking at that room and I was thinking, what is that up on the ceiling? Well, it's the safety water sprinkler in case the hotel gets on fire. But when you look more closely at what's up there, they've got a sign for you to not hang your clothes on that thing, but it's 10 feet in the air. And so one of the things that the reason I show that to you is, to me, it's extremely important. And one of the things that board training you all did your evaluation on, to me, the best part of that board training was when David Backus, Kinsey was the only one in that part, I guess. You all had left.
I stayed and watched.
Okay, but David had some PowerPoint slides and he was talking about how important it is to stay focused on learning. And then he clicked the slide and he just started dropping in one thing after another, which were the kinds of distractions that keep us from focusing on what's important. And so you all heard me say this before. If this people in this room can't stay focused on learning, then the teachers down below us cannot stay focused on learning. And if the adults in this building cannot stay focused on learning, it's not a prayer the kids will. And the thing that the teachers have heard from me, and they're going to get real sick of me until y'all run me off. What do you want them to learn? And usually the teachers can articulate with a little prompting. And then the next question I ask is, how do the kids know? How do they know that's what you want them to learn? Because we have to be very overt about what it is we want. Okay, that's all that sermon. I want to say kudos to Mr. Miller and the Ag Boys. I learned when we took occupation of the two new houses last month, I learned that some of John Loudermilk's helpers were taking the excess materials that were left over, throwing them over the back fence. And so among all those 4 and 5 and 6 foot careless weeds were square tubing and sawhorses and all kinds of stuff. And so we couldn't go back there and mow. And so I called Shane Miller and I said, hey, I got a request. And he said, what? And I said, when we get school started, would you take a class of kids back there and clean up all that material? And you can have it for your ag mechanics classes, whatever you can salvage there. Square tubing. I knew there was square tubing and sawhorses and some those metal clips like they use of sea purlin and stuff. And so they did a second day of school. He called me and said, cleaned up. So good for him. Joey B. We've been trying to get him with school bus credentials for a while, and he cleared the hurdle. He's done. So now, last year, pretty much the only people we had that could drive big buses were the coaches and Jamie and Melissa Humphreys. Anybody else? And I'm forgetting? But we now have 2 more.
Justin Gibson. could-
Justin.
Yes, sir.
We now have Crystal Claybaugh, who can, and she drove the band bus at Rose frequently, and Joey Burke. So that's handy. And then I've already mentioned Josh and the Jaybird football team serving food at the homeless shelter. And I want to say kudos to Josh. Boy, day after tomorrow, the big extravaganza starts, and I've been a little nervous personally about what in the heck am I supposed to be doing that I don't know I'm supposed to be doing. So my conversation with Josh, not only has he alleviated me of some of my concerns, he's been putting a bunch of those puzzle pieces together. And so I'm thankful for that. He told me, and somebody in this room may know, he told me yesterday that he thought by the end of the evening yesterday, all of the ticket sales spots would be filled. I haven't talked to him, I haven't seen him today, so I don't know. But I mean, we have to have people selling tickets Thursdays games, Fridays games, yeah.
At the gate.
At the gates.
For working the gate.
Yeah. But anyway, I knew we were getting close. So the only thing now remaining, which I fully expect to happen, is for lightning to show up during one or more of the ball games. So we all have to run for the hills. But
It's supposed to rain, isn't it?
that's all I've got. Cody,
On the bus driver thing?
Yeah.
Wasn't Miss Huff going to Muleshoe to do that?
to drive the small buses,
Okay,
not the big ones. Yeah.
okay.
And when she attacked that runaway tire with her Suburban, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, she did
Thank you,
that. I
sir.
think, but that's something else on that topic. I think that for a week now, every vehicle we have with wheels has been on the place. That's the first time since March the 4th, when you all asked me to come in here, that all of our vehicles have been here and nobody's been in the shop. So that's pretty handy.
He's working on the big one. That's
Yeah.
good.
Much better.
Yeah, right. Let's see.
So there's no public comments.
Okay.
Next, we'll move to an action item, resolution regarding Senate Bill 12 and parent rights.
You saw that, I dropped that into your board packet. And if you want me to put it on the screen, I will. But this is what it looks like. It's Senate Bill 12. There's 25 items. And when you read through it, most of it is our state legislature's attempt to say publicly, we're not going to be woke, and parents have full accessibility and full rights to the school and what the school's doing to and for and with their children. The two elements that I had to put on things on my personal calendar to make sure is that we I don't even know, haven't discussed this with Keith. We have to make sure that we have a public comment portal on our website by which people can click on that and make comments about the way the school, according to this, has to do with the campus or the district or the school board. So basically, we have to put a big target on us, to let people fire at us if they want to, which is fine. And then, right behind that was, I had to flag on here and you'll see it in future board agendas that we have to take a look at any of those comments that have been posted on our website during a board meeting. So other than that, it's law. They're just forcing us to be public about saying we're gonna do it.
So we'll need a motion for a resolution regarding Senate Bill 12 and parent rights.
I move that we accept the resolution regarding Senate Bill 12 and parent rights.
If I make some motion, Cody seconds, all in favor?
Cody, you can sign that, and then Mackenzie has to sign that.
Next, we'll move to 1F discussion item, board election update.
Yeah, in the update that I provided to you all the other day, we've had one potential candidate pick up a board packet. I had a conversation with that candidate yesterday. Not a done deal, but at least interested in them. But then have had interest expressed by another person, but I'm doubtful that will, I'm not even sure that person's eligible. So that's where we are right now. Only one packet picked up, and you know, I'm not sure how I should feel about it. I mean, I think I would love for two candidates and only two candidates to pick up candidate packets, so we don't have to have the election. But if 14 want to, that's fine too. Let the political process play out. My sense is that there's not going to be a flood. We would have a bunch more people sitting over here. That's all I've got on that.
It'd be a good time to pick one up because it's only like a 6-month term. So if you don't like it, you
Yeah,
don't have to run
right.
again. You can test the waters, get your feet wet.
And if you're polishing up your resume, yeah, you know, public
Served
service.
on the school board.
Easy duty, right? Win friends and influence enemies.
Next, we'll move to 1G discussion item, confirmation of expenses on behalf of superintendent and board for 2024-2025.
Yeah, I dropped that into, this is a discussion item. I dropped that into your board packet as well. So we're required by law to make that part of a public conversation and publicly available. Anybody who wants to see it, which is basically whatever money was spent on your travel during the course of the year, and also on that particular document was the money that was involved in the severance with Mr. Bickman. So nothing earth shattering there or nothing that any of us could get thrown in jail over that I know of.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Next, we'll move to 1H discussion item, state champion commemoration display, next steps.
Yeah, I tried to articulate my feelings about that. I appreciate the folks that have served on that committee to help vet that stuff to begin with. And I showed you the condensation or the distillation of the conversations that group's had. The more I have thought about it, I don't think we're ready to put a nail in it yet. I think there's some more conversation that we probably need to have about possible ways for that to look. And as you know, in fact, and if y'all get tired of those updates from me, just tell me, you know. I mean, I'm not going to sleep at 3:30 in the morning, but I can do something else besides write that stuff.
Appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate the information.
Well, I want you to know what I'm thinking, and it's fine with me if you push back, but I think you and I are better served if you know what I'm thinking, and if your thoughts you've had time to percolate and make your argument, or if you want to talk to me back channel, that's some of you've done that, that's fine too. But I do believe our decisions are better when we've had time to think about things, and in this particular issue, And I put in my email communication to you, the variables that are important to me. And the more I chew on it, the more important to me, I think it is that it not just be a backward looking process, but we somehow leverage that thing to look forward. I mean, I don't want it to just be a record of heroes past. I would love for it to be a testament of this place creates them, you know? And here's what some of them have done. And what's another thing that I was thinking about at the ranch the other day too, there's not many schools that have that kind of record. Now, you look at Nazareth's girls, yeah, they've won a bunch, the Nazareth girls, you know? But you take a look at us, football and basketball and band and Lone Star Cup and
Robotics.
yes, across the spectrum, music, athletics, academics. So I dropped a homework assignment on Keith this morning, or it was yesterday, wasn't it? And I invited him into the conversation because he's a deep thinker. You know, sometimes he just sits over there quietly and doesn't say anything. You can feel the heat coming off of that running. And so I said, here's what I'm thinking, you know, and so he's started chewing on that a little bit too. So here's what my thinking is. And I'm gonna shut up and let you all talk back to me here in just a second, though. I think and this is my thinking. Something that's big and bold and in your face and you can't miss it. And you don't have to get out of your car to see it. You don't have to walk to it. I mean, if you come to this campus, not only are you gonna see it, if you're expected to line up and play against us, there's got to be a little bit of an intimidation effect of that. But something that's amendable so that when we have our future state champions, I'd love to think we're gonna have some more this year. We can add, you know, without having to tear it down, start over. And something that catches your eye, and that's something that the messaging in it is forward thinking, very forward thinking. I'm gonna shut up. Say what you want to say, or push back, or.
No, I think from the pictures of the examples that were showed to us last week before, I mean, I like the idea of the rock and the plaques versus a bunch of individual granite, whatever, I think that looks really good. I wasn't thinking that way. I was trying to figure out how to line up a bunch of,
That's
me.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, that looks good.
Kind of like
Look classy.
Kind of like the veterans walls that they do.
Because you see those other places where we go, those monuments.
Yeah.
You don't see what y'all are thinking about.
I've even got my name on it. Well, some of the kids said something about me seeing one of those at Haskell with my name on it.
Sure is.
Yeah, I drove the bus. I didn't do much.
I like it, and I like that it's different than what we see, because then when people pull up, it'll be like, oh yeah, that's where they display all those champions they've had come through.
And forward thinking is important because that's why we're here.
Well,
That's why we're in this room, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, and on that topic too, you saw the slide, you know, where I invited the folks, I keep pointing at Lacey because she was on the committee, but names, you know, Plaza champions, Homewood champions, those kinds of things. And I told Keith this morning when he and I were talking about it, I said, you know, I was messing with cattle this morning before I came to town, and I was thinking, where champions learn. Maybe, but anyway, here's my intention is to keep chewing on it, and I invite you all to, if you see a visual you think's cool, send it to me, or get an idea, you can text it to me or email me, and we'll put it in this pot that's kind of boiling, and I would like to think that when we come together in September, maybe we can take a look at some some real possibilities. Like on the thing that you're talking about, I mean, if it's some sort of a rock or marble or bronze or like a granite or whatever. I have a feeling we probably have someone in this building that could Photoshop something without us having to hire an architect to at least have conversations about. When we get down to getting ready to build it, we might need to get architects help. Maybe not. I'm done with that. If you are.
Everybody good with that?
Mhm.
Next, we'll get into the learning optimization for all. 2A action item, designate Caleb Ragsdale as adjunct instructor.
Yeah, Kayla, one of her responsibilities is to teach us CPR and to teach the staff and as students different kinds of things, using the use of the EpiPen and some different kinds of health related stuff. So very much like we do with our county extension agent, we need to just designate her officially as an adjunct instructor for the school, and that sort of gives her the magic tattoo to teach some of, particularly the CPR stuff.
So we'll need a motion to designate Ms. Ragsdale as adjunct instructor.
I'll make a motion to
Izzy
designate.
makes a motion,
Second.
Andy seconds it, all in favor? Next, we'll move to action item, reassign Nikki Herzog from paraprofessional to professional status as a result of credentializing progression.
Yeah, I've been sending this signal to you since May. As you all know, Nikki basically served as the pre-K teacher last year while she was working on her degree. She finished her degree and then immediately, as intended, jumped into the alternative teacher certification program. And she's at that point now where she's finished the degree and in far enough through into that alternative cert program where we give her a probationary teacher contract. And the way those alt cert programs work, and Jamie, you can counter me or correct me if I misstate this, but the way the alternative cert programs work basically is if they're in those programs, then they have to land a teaching job, which allows them basically to do their student teaching under the supervision of that outfit. And there's different versions, Teach for America, I Teach Texas, all kinds of them. And most large, for that matter, most large school districts these days have their own alternative teacher certification program. And at the end of the year, assuming she has successfully passed through that supervision piece with I Teach, that's the one she's with, and I Teach. Then she's worthy of being considered for a term contract. Now, if she doesn't, being on a probationary contract, then deal's off. But what it does for Nikki, though, is move her from paraprofessional pay to teacher pay. Did I say that wrong?
Yeah, that's correct. And she just, the neat thing about it is once you're in that program, you get your emergencies, they give you an emergency certification with SPEC for a year. While she's working on her content area. So she'll have her pedagogy and professional responsibilities, her PPR portion she'll be a fully certified teacher during that time on a probationary contract, just like with us with probationary. So while you're in that program, they allowed you an emergency certification status for 1 year.
Yeah, because I remember Shelley, she'd have to go back.
Yeah.
A week, every semester, she would have to go in or something like that, or maybe a couple of nights.
They do. They come and visit her, I believe, 4 times, and she'll have a mentor teacher, assign a mentor teacher. I'll do walks, and I'll communicate with them, but they send out someone basically to do me, which I'll do walks, but they'll come out. They have a supervisor that comes out and will actually visit with her, go over things and help to prepare her for that. But, so it's a good deal. It's a good way to do it.
I've had those alt cert programs before contact me out here and say, would you go observe a teacher in Knox City and provide us feedback? And so they just kind of third party outsource that supervision piece.
So we will need a motion to reassign Ms. Herzog from paraprofessional to professional status.
I'll make a motion that we reassign Nikki from paraprofessional to professional status.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Cody, this is the probationary contract. If you will sign and date right there, then I'll hand that to her tomorrow, and she has until September the 1st. I don't think she'll wait until September the 1st. I think, that's all, that's the only thing other than that's for, in case she doesn't,
Okay.
if she
So
misses
that's
the
all.
deadline, then you'll sign and say she missed the deadline. Thank you all for that. Thanks for your confidence on that.
Next, we'll move to 2C, action item, consider policy revision to EFB local as it relates to acquisitions and challenges to library materials.
This is one of the things that came out of the legislative session in the spring. And so when our policy person from TASB contacted, the way that process works on the local policies, especially when it's in parts and pieces, is Tammy will send me the local policy. And usually they'll send a couple of language versions. One kind of busy, and the other one the softest, easiest approach. And then they'll also offer you the opportunity to craft your own language if you want to. And then they'll let the lawyers look at it and see if it passes legal muster. Well, what I told Tammy was, we want to take the least burdensome for the district approach. Basically, if someone wants to challenge a book in the library, we're going to let them challenge it. I'll read it. You can read it. We can see whether we want to keep it or not. You know, but we're not going to have a committee and 3 hearings and all that stuff. So the policy you're approving, which I dropped into your board packet, is the kinder, gentler version. Well, the one I think is least burdensome to the school district if someone wants to challenge what we have in the library.
So we'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve policy revision to EFB local.
I'll second it.
Cody, Kinsey makes a motion. Cody seconds it. All in favor? Next, we'll move to 2D, action item, consider policy revision to FNCE local as it relates to prohibition of student to use personal communication devices during the school day.
Yeah, and this is basically the codification of the conversations that we've been having about the cell phone. The state law said you have to have a policy related to the prohibition that you're going to do about prohibiting use of cell phones and personal communication devices in the school. So Jamie is, for the last 2 meetings, we've talked about it. I've mentioned to you, our decision was to try to take the softest, gentlest approach to it and not make it a battle every time we see one. And so when Tammy reached out to me with those options, here are the options of the language you can use. I told her we want the softest version that meets legal standards. And that's what she sent back, and that's what you saw in your packet.
So we'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we consider policy revision to FNCE local.
I'll second that.
Stephanie makes a motion. Andy seconds it. All in favor? Next, we'll move to effective and efficient learning operations. Action item, the consent items, minutes from the August board meeting, the financial reports, and the policy revision to FD local and FM local to codify the opting out of Senate Bill 4 as it releases to homeschool students and participation in extracurricular activities.
The only thing I want to say on that, unless y'all want to pull on that and talk about it at length, is that third one there. The policy revision to FD local and FM local. All that is codifying the decision you made at the last board meeting when you said we're opting out.
Right.
So when you all said that, I told Tammy Jordan, our TASB liaison, we're opting out. And she said, these are the things that need to be reflected in your board policy. So that's why those are there. That's why I put them in the consent items. It's just sort of perfunctory.
Anybody have any questions about the financials or the minutes from last meeting? We will need a motion to approve the consent items.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Andy makes a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Kinsey seconds, all in favor?
Sorry, no, this is handling McKinsey.
Next, we'll move to three B, action item, consider approving property insurance, premium for 2025-26 as presented.
You saw that in your board packet too, and I've talked to you about it the last time, I think I did, didn't I? About the,
I thought we saw a number, it didn't go up that much.
yeah, the Henderson agency gave us basically two versions of, here's what it looks, your premium will be if we value your properties very liberally. And here's what the premium would be if we value your properties very conservatively. Did I say that close to correctly? And of course, the very conservative valuing was the one that is the lesser premium, and that's what we picked because of the permanent school fund, we could self-insure probably 3/4 of what we own. But it's probably safer to have an insurance policy, so we took the lowest premium on our property. So
That's the one you would recommend, Lacey, as being the business manager?
Yes, it's expensive, but.
you know, it's amazing how expensive they think this tennis courts are and that new stadium on the home side, you know, that added a lot of stuff that can blow over freight for. Well, in one year at Guthrie, we lost our entire track and scoreboard to hail. It never occurred to me. I knew we lost roofs, but it didn't, when the insurance adjuster came out and said, your track, it's done. It didn't even occur to me that the hail would destroy that.
But they call it an all-weather track.
Almost all weather. As my dad says, every time I take him to the doctor in Abilene, we crash by Abilene Christian University. He says, almost Christian University. As we go by Hardin Centers.
We will need a motion to consider approving the property insurance premium for 2025-26.
I'll make a motion, we approve the property insurance premium.
Cody makes a motion, I'll second it, all in favor? Next will be our action item, consider request for Kent County permanent school funds of $183,720.76.
Bless Lacey's heart. We are in the last 2 weeks of August and she's trying mightily to clean up the 24-25 books. And so this is one of the things. And there's not a day goes by that she doesn't show me an invoice or something that we had done 3 months ago that someone forgot to do a purchase requisition on. She's going to heaven. Yeah, for working with me, if for no other reason. One of the reasons she's going to heaven is trying to clean up these books by the end of August. So that's what that's about.
So we'll need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion that we consider those final amendments for the 24-25 budget.
I'll second. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that was for the Kent County permanent school.
Oh, I checked that one off too fast. Let me make a motion to consider the request for Kent County Permanent School Fund of $183,720.76.
Stephanie makes a motion,
I'll second it.
Andy seconds, all in favor?
Kenzie was about to have to delete something.
No, hold on, it's okay.
She can't delete as fast as she types.
We'll move to 3D action item, consider final amendments to the 2024-2025 budget.
This is part of the cleanup for 24-25, and so at the end of, as you get to the end of the budget cycle, you always either generated more or less revenue than you anticipated. You always spent a little more in function 11 than you thought, or a little less in function 23 than you thought, and so she's balancing the books out. So what that amounts to. That's what those amendments are about.
So I'll make a motion to consider final amendments to the 2024-2025 budget.
I'll make a motion to consider final amendments of the 24-25 budget. You make the motion?
Yeah.
I'll second it then.
All right, Cody and Cody, all in favor?
That's your ask.
Rub it off on you.
Next, we'll move to 3, action item, consider proposed JJISD budget for 2025-26 school year.
Yeah, you've been looking at it for 3 board meetings now, and you saw it during the public hearing earlier. But the worst news is it's a hugely deficit budget. The better news is that it's a lesser budget than last year's budget. I looked at that comparison document that you all have seen before, and I dropped it in your board packet also, the 10 years before this one. And so 9 out of 10 years, or I think that's right. No, that's not right. 7 out of 10 years. 7 out of 10 years, the board was, whoever was sitting in your seats were looking at deficit budgets, and only about half of those ended the year at a deficit budget. But I'm comfortable recommending that budget to you.
Motion,
I'll make a motion to consider proposed J and Jordan ISD budget for 25-26.
I'll second it.
Cody makes a motion, Stephanie seconds, all in favor?
All right. I will say this about that too, and I've already been making noises with some of the people here. That I proposed the deficit budget. It's not an easy decision to say, we think we're gonna spend 600 and something thousand more than we're gonna make. Kind of like this decision to do that with the credit card or when you buy a house or something, but some of the conversations I've been having with some people around here is, if you have something that you need, I'm gonna try to get it for you. If you just have something that you think you really would like to have, you better come armed with a strong argument. It won't be quite as easy to get the money, the approval. All right, thank you. Thank you all for that. I know that that's a big vote. I get it.
Next will be 3F, action item, resolve to adopt maintenance and operations tax rate of 70.7892 for the 2025-26 school year.
As I mentioned to you during the public hearing earlier, 0.7892 is locked in by formula. We have no latitude, which makes my job in Lacey's a little easier because we don't have to struggle on what to suggest to you. But because of our property wealth and different iterations of the Robin Hood system over the years, we're just locked. That's what our tax rate's going to be. No choice.
So we'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt a maintenance operations tax rate of 0.7892 for the 25-26 year.
I'll second it.
Kinsey makes a motion, Andy seconds, all in favor? Next will be an action item, consider softball baseball complex construction manager at risk contract.
Would you sign that tax rate resolution and hand it to McKinsey,
Yes, sir.
please, sir? So I was so wanting to come in here, and I put it on here as an action item. I was so wanting to come in here and say, we're ready. At 3 o'clock this afternoon, I got an email from the lawyer and said, I think I got the documents polished up. You need to look at them. You need to answer these questions. You need to talk to the architect. So here's what we're this close. Gosh.
So we won't be acting on that one tonight.
Well, I don't think it would be prudent. What I thought about was saying to you, asking you to say, give the superintendent authority to execute the contract with FAR, assuming he's comfortable with the final language. I don't want to ask you to do, that's kind of fuzzy, you know, and I think all 5 of you know, I'm not going to try to get off with money and put it in a bank in the Caribbean or something, but And if you wanna make a motion like that, a contingency motion saying, you know, if the language in the contract suits you and you wanna execute it with FAR, do it. I'm perfectly happy, and the ship will sail as soon as I can do that. If you wanna wait till our September board meeting where we're actually looking at you had a chance to look at the words in the documents, I'm fine with that too. That sounds kind of mushy.
I'm good with the contingency.
I trust your decision. I think you know what we're looking for and if David, if his team thinks it's right and you think it's right, then I don't want to wait another month. I mean, if if they go over it and FAR calls back tomorrow, then we wait another month. That's just another month behind. That's my thinking. So I don't know what everybody else is thinking.
I'm good with it.
I mean, Jeff may come
You've
back
been in-
Friday.
You've been in the murk and the mire. You've been.
Well, I think we're there.
Yeah.
And I don't, I mean, I'm not gonna try to cheat you all. I don't think the architect's gonna try to cheat you. And FAR, I'm convinced FAR is dealing with this fairly. I think the number he pitched in that opinion of probable cost is one I can live with.
Mhm.
I'm ready for the train to leave the station.
I don't think Lacey.
After I answer the 20 questions, the lawyer's not gonna answer. you
Right,
know.
right.
Yeah, I trust that if you see anything there that's alarming to you, you'll let us know.
Well, I'm not gonna sign anything I'm not comfortable with.
Right,
Sure.
right.
And so essentially, I mean, if you pass a contingency motion, you're basically, you're trusting my judgment to not get us thrown in jail or cost us $25 million for a $6 million project, but. So now, if you wanna do that, and I'm not pushing you to do.
No,
that.
I know.
You're a grown up, I know that.
Well, and you kept us in the loop
Well,
all along the way,
I-
so we
tried to, yeah.
have more information than. I hate to say more than we need, but more. To make this decision.
Well, that's one way to confuse you. is to
Yeah.
Too much. So, the if that's what you wanna do, a contingency, you- well, so,
Say it.
you're in the communications business, you probably craft that language as well as I can, so.
Well, I would just make a motion that we have a contingent item. To trust that Dr. Coulter make the decision if FAR calls tomorrow and we move forward.
I second it.
I'm not, no, we
Can
need to work on.
can
my
we
wording.
modify the language?
Let's modify it.
Okay, the motion to authorize Coulter to execute the contractual documents
His manager at risk.
for designating Jason Farr and Associates as the construction manager at risk. As soon as the documents are prepared by the attorneys.
So Stephanie made a motion, Cody seconded it, all in favor?
Did I say that too fast for you, Lindsay?
I'm almost done.
You wanna read it back?
Yeah.
Okay,
Motion made to authorize Nelson Coulter to execute the contractual documents designating Farr and Associates as the softball baseball complex construction manager at risk No. Designating them as the the softball baseball construction manager at risk as soon as documents are prepared. Should we say and approved? If they're.
As soon
prepared,
as,
you can-
as an agreement
soon as
been reached.
the documents are completed by the attorneys.
Okay, I wanna read that one more time.
What we're trying to do is
Mhm.
give me the.
Motion made to
get the thing
authorize
going.
Nelson Coulter to execute the contractual documents designating Farr and Associates as the softball baseball complex construction manager at risk as soon as documents are completed by the attorneys. Okay, is that what your motion was?
That was it.
Scott's motion, Cody
I'll
seconded,
second the motion.
and all in favor?
For what it's worth, I saw a similar motion about a year ago or so, for, Mr. Bicknell and Brad
Brad.
McNeil. But they never got executed. And after talking to the attorneys, Ron Garcia basically said, I told Scott, don't sign those. Don't do that. So Scott did not do that.
Okay.
That's why that never got off the ground. Thank you all thanks for your confidence and,
Well, thank you for the information.
yeah, well, it's easier to make good decisions if you got it.
It is.
Did you say this one, the best for last? 3H action item, remediation of schoolhouse at 801 Claremont Street.
Yeah, well, I told Cody earlier today when he and I were talking, I said, and I told my wife this morning, one of my goals is to get us out of there in 90 minutes. Well, we might do it. Depends on how much y'all want to talk about this. So here's the deal. I've walked through the thing multiple times. I've talked to people, Andy, Lacey, others. I've been in and out of that house. Mike Heineman, who is, Mike's probably 30, 35 now. He's the son and the grandson of the Heineman folks. Almost every house that we have bought in this school district has been bought from Heineman Homes, except just the two that we just finished. Mike drove out today. He said his dad drove out Sunday and looked, and Mike drove out today, and he and I walked through the house and the property. And as you all know from my communications with you, I mean, one day it's this, one day it's that. Please trust me. It's okay with me if you disagree with me. My recommendation to you is that we put the current house up for auction. Mike told me today that, he and I walked it, he measured it. We looked at every piece of it. He said the thing can be moved out in whole, garage included, without losing a tree, without, what we'd have to do is disconnect the patio from the house proper, but not take the patio out.
Right.
What we'd have to do is jackhammer out the back steps, jackhammer out the front porch, drag it out. And they can build one to the exact dimensions that this one is, using the same footing. Set it down exactly, a new one, right, exactly where the current one is, connect it, build the porches back, connect the patio. Of course, they'd have to disconnect fences to pull it out, but not destroy them. That my concern was how much do we tear up getting it out? So I asked Mike too, I said, so ballpark figure, because the current house is, and his wife Jennifer is the one that does the schematics, she does the drawings. I said, so ballpark, what are you getting square foot? He said $160 square foot. So the current house is at about $2,150. So we're talking $330,000 for the new one, if we do that. Brick back up. The way he was talking, the old one goes out, the new one sits right down exactly where it is. We still get to use the same sidewalks, the same driveway. We just got to rebuild porches pretty much. And so for us, from a monetary perspective, we're looking at auctioning the old one. The last time when you sold the one behind here, you got $70,000 from Nathan Brooks. Mike told me today that he believes he or someone else would come get the thing and try to salvage it, One of the things he said when we were walking through that caused me concern, because the first thing he said was, this was the one with the Prestwood subflooring. He said, we haven't used that in years. And he was talking about the stuff they use now, he called it OSB. I don't know what that means,
It's just
but it
part,
sounds like it's
it's not plywood, it's just kind of particle.
yeah,
together.
it sounds like a composite.
Mhm.
I know they're putting that similar stuff in stock trailers now, which evidently are more water impervious and weather impervious, and cow poop impervious, but so that's I think, and then, so I also asked Mike too, I said, how long are we looking at? And he said, if you told me tomorrow we were gonna do it, he said, you'd be number 6 on the list. He said, 3 days from now, you'd probably be number 9 on the list. But he said, bottom line is, I think you're looking at, I'm gonna say 8 months. More like 6. If I asked Lacey about it, she'd say probably 13 months. Based on all the other building projects that we've done. But the other variable in this too, is we're not in a pickle. Right now, I mean, we're not have somebody camped out in a tent. We've got, the Carson family sitting in the house that belongs to the superintendent. So, that's my recommendation today. It's okay with me.
Do we get any pricing on just gutting and
Well,
everything inside?
no,
that?
the,
All electric? full
well,
electric?
not for the whole thing, and if you'd rather do that before making the decision. I can put together a laundry list of all the things that I think need to happen, and we can pitch it to 2 or 3 contractors and sell it and say, what's the bottom price? So if we want to take that approach, we can do that, and I cannot imagine that we're gonna get out for less than $100,000.
I was thinking 150 though, but that still saves us $200,000 and it would be,
Yeah,
cause the outside shell, the house seems pretty good shape.
seems all
They
right,
didn't-
and
they didn't-
it's got new windows. I don't know when those were replaced.
I was thinking 150 to make it all electric, get the gas out,
Yeah, everything.
new
about-
flooring,
Yeah.
new walls, whatever we need to do, spray foam insulation.
I'm fine-
like the
I'm
newer
fine with
homes,
that.
If it was, I don't know, that was my thought, 150 seems a lot cheaper than 350.
Yeah, I think we're looking at 330 to 350 if we take it out, replace it.
And you can probably do that a lot faster than they can rebuild the new one. I would think, if you got the right,
Depends on who's on.
depends on who your foreman is, which, are you our construction foreman right now? It's gonna be done by homecoming. Cutting the class, buddy.
Which year?
Yeah. Macy senior year.
My opinion on it is, it's an old house, one of the oldest houses of the schoolhouses that we have, some of the original ones. We spend a lot of money fixing up our older houses, remodeling, fixing and fixing, and I'm for your recommendation is getting it out and putting a new one there. We don't have to worry about it for a while. I mean, I know the remodel is, but like you said, the compressed boards, that's just, that like a sponge to any moisture, and the subfloor has to come out, and then.
Yeah.
But it's a total gut and remodel.
I think so, and the guy that came out, the day that, Jacqueline and Chase were pulling carpet out, and he crawled under the house, the contractor from Snyder. And showed me pictures. I mean, there's some floor joists. Damage, which is not uncommon in a house that old, but.
I mean,
Really, the two of you are making the pivotal argument that's been going on in my mind.
right,
I mean, how much money do you want to put into an old house? And you can probably make it good and save yourself $150,000. You still got a 50-year-old house. And part of me thinks, build a new one. Or,
Did he say what he would get for it? If he would try to,
if he was going, well, I think he'll put a bid on it. And he told me he bid 20,000 the last time. But then Nathan got it
And it
for
was for
70.
70.
And we can put a minimum. I mean, if you wanna do that, we could say. But I think to be fair, I mean, we'd want to give somebody a couple months. Because, I mean, the brick's got to be removed and hauled off, that's got to be disposed of. So whoever buys the thing, there's be some cost. Or if nothing else, sweat equity that goes into just taking the brick down and getting it
But I guess
disposed of.
if he bought it, he would do all that on his own.
Yep. Yep.
So remodel 4 or 5 months or rebuild 12 months. Or build new in 12 months.
Y'all believe me when I say it doesn't matter to me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, now, don't worry about my feelings. If I have strong feelings about something, I'll tell you.
He'll
On this
call you at
one,
3 in the morning when he gets up, wake you up and hang up on you.
Well, the Hinman, group is like those first 5 houses that we built when Overbo was here, I was on the board. Are the ones where the old tennis courts were.
Mhm, yeah,
And so we bought 5 of them at one time. I think they averaged about 165 turnkey
Yeah.
on all of them. We spent a little more on the fences and some turf, but that's how much things have gone up since
Oh, yeah.
10 years
I
ago.
think the 3 bedrooms were 160, but the 4 bedrooms were closer to 200. They were a little bit more, the 4 bedrooms, the 4 bedrooms.
Not the first 5 we built. No. There were, I think the
Cause
average
it was
whatever.
Hernandez house.
And
Those 3, no, Connie Hernandez, that was one of them. And the ag house and the 3 right here were all in the same package.
yeah. And I think we built all 5 of those for,
7 something.
I think so, I think it was under 700,000. I won't say 6 something, but I don't, anyway, that doesn't help our argument that we have now, but. We're in the process of cleaning up some lots and putting in some houses, but it's not like they're gonna be building that house there for a year or 8 months, where they say they'll clean the lot off and then. One of these days you drive by and there'll be a house sitting there and they just gotta do all the amenities to it, but. It's not like they're gonna, that's what I assume, they're gonna bring it in,
Yes.
put it together, or
Wait a
no,
minute.
those are all.
They're ready built.
Yes,
They just move it in.
yes, so,
Put it
yeah, they bring it in and then they have to do a few details on it.
And that's what, I was kind of surprised to hear him say that they would actually use the footing that was there. They
Yeah.
they wouldn't have to,
Correct.
because they would build the house exactly
Mhm.
to fit
Set there.
where the
Okay.
current one is on the current fitting.
Yeah.
I didn't know they would do that.
I didn't either.
So houses that age that the school still owns, I'm assuming we're talking superintendent house, pool house across from the pool house, and then a couple on,
Like Jody's plot.
but the rest for the most part have been auctioned off and replaced, or so we're probably 5 or 6 that are about that age. They're out.
So the one that Lauren Huff is in, that we lived in,
That's
I think it's the same
that's what I was guessing.
age.
Those 3
I'm
probably,
thinking
and then
those
these
probably
3.
early 70s. That's my guess.
Well, then we own the one over there that Kim lives in. It's
That's probably older
right
than that.
across from the Church
Yeah.
of Christ. We own that gray house.
Oh, okay, I've heard about that.
That's not one of the, well, I think we acquired it later on, but we didn't build it.
But that's the older one that we own.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I was kind of just thinking out
So
loud.
5 is right,
6.
so we're thinking 6.
3 up close to the school,
Mhm.
3 on that road.
Okay.
But those other ones, I think, will make sure we're on the same page, or would be willing to sell those, like Jody and Summer's house on that street. I think it's our plan.
Okay.
So, you're looking at me like, so my recommendation would be to try to keep enough good functional, low maintenance houses to house our employees that need
Yes,
them
correct,
and not have a bunch of extras.
Right.
yes.
That is not the approach that Borden County takes, but I dealt with a little bit of that over Augusta. More houses than you have employees and it generates some problems in itself.
I mean, we have our superintendent house occupied right now, so I think we're under a timeline to free that up.
Well, and we know, so when we think about those 6 that have some age on them, we know for sure these right up here by the school are ones that we never want to let go of those lots.
Right.
And so I think if we're gonna start from scratch somewhere, that it might be those
Right.
locations that we should start from scratch.
Mhm.
Because when we get ready to auction off those others, that will be a much easier decision in my mind.
Right.
Because it's not in the front yard.
Right.
I agree.
And whatever we do with the one that we're talking about here about the pool, I mean, if we're gonna drop money into repairing it and making it as nice as we can, or if we're gonna replace it, I think in my mind, it's probably wise to think of that one as the house for the new superintendent, whoever she or he is.
That was my next question.
I think that's
Yeah.
a good idea too, yeah, to go ahead and earmark that one as being,
Yeah.
if it's,
It's a
they
3-bedroom.
told me it would only be easy decisions.
It's a
on the
3-bedroom.
board,
What'd you say?
yeah. They told me it would only be easy decisions.
3-2.
On the-
I would like that to be a 2-car garage though.
Housing is the toughest one to deal with. So you think expand the garage, make the garage bigger?
2-car garage is just, I don't know why anybody built a 1-car garage. Doesn't make sense. But we have a lot of them, so somebody thought
There's
it made
probably
sense.
room, there's probably space there if.
Well,
Was that a city alley right there?
one of the things Mike said when we were looking, he says you don't have any room to extend west. And I don't know about east. I mean, I don't know how close we can get to the street.
Okay.
If we're gonna lengthen the house, then it would have to be eastward in lengthening.
Don't think we should put it up just for builders to look at and get some.
That's fine. I mean, if you would like, if you want, I mean, we're not in a bind on time. If you want, me to create a comprehensive laundry list of everything I think needs to happen and then pitch it to 2 or 3 contractors and
No, I'm
stuff.
saying builders, like the Hinman and a couple other builders to build it.
Oh, yeah. So,
The new house
yeah,
location.
if we're gonna go with a ready-built house, then what we'd have to do is put specs together and then
Take bids.
publicize, take bids. And but what we would do, I mean, I would ask Mike to say, give me the bids, and whatever, if we were gonna decide 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom, and however we wanted to do it. And then let him put the specs together, and then we'd use those specs
Put up for
to publicize and say, we're in the business of looking for a house that looks like this.
I'm fine with that. I'm thinking about it. We've had 50 years out of that house. I think been a lot of teachers and kids go through that house and
And dogs. And dogs. Or maybe cats, I don't know.
school's got its money's worth out of it. So I hate that it's that much to build a new house.
Yeah, I
But
know.
it just makes me sick how much new houses are.
No, I don't know.
Just so y'all mind.
Well, yeah, right.
But I do like the idea that you don't have to change the yard, you don't have to, you know,
Mhm.
that,
I was
That kinda blows
comforted,
my mind.
I was
That-
comforted to hear that.
Yeah.
And
And that kind of is what, last time we were here, I was just all in on fixing it, cause you hate to disrupt what's there, but. And you also don't know the hidden costs once we dig in deeper.
But money pit.
Uh-huh.
sound like the voice of experience.
Been there, done it.
We could get 40 or 50 for it, I don't know, maybe 60,
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's.
Yeah.
So that goes,
Probably
that would go back
Help us
into
swing it back a little.
to a different fund.
Get more for it
For the
50
general
years
fund.
later than what they paid to build it. 50 years ago, they probably paid 20 grand to build it.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
I think Ready
We'll
Bill
need
did.
I like Kenzie's scenario with new house close to on the school properties, and if it was over there on
Yeah,
whatever street that is, where Brawley's live and.
Yeah, I don't think we wanna give up the property at all.
No.
no. Let's don't give Mr. Ratfinger any reason to go turn the water hose on in his house. You can get a new one. He's over there. So we'll need a motion. If y'all are good with it, anybody else have anything else to discuss on that? Y'all are good with putting it up for auction and
What's the motion gonna say? It says approve remediation of schoolhouse.
So the motion, should probably read like, I move to put 801, the house of 801 Claremont up for auction with a minimum bid of such and such dollars and an expected timeline of 60 days or 90 days or.
What's the minimum?
60 days is probably good, cause it's gonna start getting cold after that. Give some people some time to get things done.
I mean, a house that we know needs a lot of work, I mean, that's gonna be less than the house that just sold back here. I don't expect to get 70 for
Mhm.
that house that we did.
Right.
This one.
So we'll need a motion. Kenzie, you can make a motion. You can-
Well, do we
If
want
it
to
matters,
set the minimum bid first?
to you, Mike told me today that he bid 20,000 on that one.
Okay.
If you care, I mean, I don't know if that,
So that'd be a good starting bid,
Or about
Minimum?
30.
30?
You just see,
If it's-
minimum
yeah.
of 30.
I'm good with that. Okay, and then what about, or do we wanna go ahead and put a timeline on it? On the motion?
60 days.
I think so.
60 days until.
And
bids
when we draw the
close.
paperwork up, I mean, it'll, with the lawyers involved, it'll specifically say, we don't have to take the minimum bid or any bid if we're not
Okay.
comfortable with it, so. Yeah, see, if you say 60 days and someone says, I can't get her done.
Okay,
We can just say, well, we'll back up and put the hook in the water
Oh,
again, or we can amend it and.
so up for auction in a 60-day window?
Oh,
How,
Yeah,
how,
within
how are we
60 day window, not-
designating?
Not them having to remove it in 60
Oh,
days, just the window.
Thinking about the
No,
remove.
just Removals.
Or do we
Well, I
even have to
think-
stipulate, can we just put it up? Oh, okay, for
Yeah.
Closed bid.
closed bid,
Well, sealed bid,
sealed bid?
accepting sealed bids. Or, and you can put in that motion.
Listening.
As long as it's not to sell the house where it's at, the house has to be bought and moved
Right,
out.
completion, and that's what the paperwork, I mean, that we put together is, will stipulate complete removal, all debris.
Okay, motion, okay, accept sealed bids for the house on 801 Claremont Street to be purchased and moved with a minimum bid of $30,000. Is that a good motion? Is that all?
We'll need a second.
I'll second it.
Andy seconds, all in favor? And Kenzie makes a motion, Andy seconds.
I think it's worth 30. I mean, I think somebody will buy it. It's like the first house that we auctioned off was, where I call it the Courtney house. It was always Randy and Courtney's house
Right.
right there where Ryan, I think, ended up buying it. Ryan, I think we,
Or Deborah daughter.
our first,
Thanks.
minimum bid, I think was 85 and nobody bid on it. Nobody went. So we waited a month and maybe 2 months, and then we had to redo it. And we went down, they ended up 50 or 60,000, I think, is what we end up
I
selling.
think somebody told me that Ryan and Hillary got it for 50.
That's what I
It's
think.
been several years.
I think you were the only bid the second go around, is what I remember.
But, and Summer and Jody, do you remember what they paid for the one they're in?
Mhm.
Do you?
115.
115?
A little bit better shape than this one though.
Yeah.
Think 30's too low.
No, I don't. I mean,
That's moving it and getting all the brick out and,
getting gone. Right.
yeah, it's got damage. It's got structural damage to it. You think, Andy?
I think so.
Okay. Did you say 30,000?
30. Mhm.
As long as we clean it up,
Mhm.
that's the main
And
thing.
don't mess up the trees.
Don't mess up the tree.
Mhm.
Next, we'll move to a discussion item, additional of real property to JJSD Holdings.
We have 5 minutes.
You're not gonna make. We still got
Well,
one more.
Yeah, I know, yeah, I know. That, I mean, I've talked too much, but, it's that sermon. It was the sermon at the beginning. It cost us. But, you saw the information about, the property that I've been in conversation with the landowner, and so, this is a discussion item. My intention, but you all can steer me away from it. My intention is to have the attorneys draw up an agreement for the purchase of that property at the number that you've seen. And present that to you, present that to the family, and if they are in agreement, then it'll be an action item on September
Next
board
one.
meeting.
And you did say that goes all the way to the fence too, all the way to our fence, so it butts up to our.
Yep.
gate.
I think, you know, the communications I've had about the demolition also, that
County.
seemed to be a good, a win-win situation for both us and the county. As well.
Good deal.
Y'all know which one he's talking about, agreements? Okay, everybody good with it?
Yep.
Next, we'll move to 3J, discussion item, board meeting dates for fall 2025, September, October, November. Have looked at the dates.
Well, the dates after, I've gotten feedback from some of you, and so the dates that you're looking at are all Mondays. September the 13th, unless you had some kind of unusual calendar conflict, the person that's going to be in the tightest spot will be Andy, because he's got a junior high child. And I don't know who the junior high games are right now. So,
I'm good with all of them.
I can't be here on September 15th, but it looks like I will be here on all of the others. I'll be in California in September. But I'm okay with all the others.
You're gonna be here the 22nd?
I will be back by the 22nd, yes.
Everybody good, the 22nd, Andy?
For September.
September, yes. Cody, you on?
22nd works better for me than the 13th.
Yeah, that'd be good.
22nd good,
22nd,
of September.
okay. So, and then October,
I'm good with the 13th, everybody.
Okay, with that.
It says Columbus Day on my calendar. Is that a school holiday or is it?
it's not a school holiday. Well, you know what?
We make too much money to have.
Yep,
holidays.
it is a
It
school
is a
holiday.
I mean, I'm
Like, we'll all be
like
here.
no school on.
A school holiday, no school that day.
Step development day.
Oh, so is the
So the
22nd.
22nd.
Mhm. I'll
September.
still be here, but
Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
September 22nd is also a staff development day, not a student holiday. That,
Y'all still-
that doesn't affect me. I'm gonna
That's
be
not a
here.
problem. I don't care. It doesn't-
I'm gonna be here.
They going to Jamaica and coming back.
Long weekend.
So October 13th, good,
13th, yes, sir.
and then November,
10th.
all good on that,
Mhm.
and December,
You good on the 10th, Cody?
Yes.
Okay, December the 8th.
Okay.
Good for me.
Okay. And I don't, again, Andy, could have junior high basketball complications. The one in November, as I noted, if we end up with a board election on the 4th, then we've got that.
Have
We
another
can
one.
just use that as the canvassing. We have to do it inside of 11 days after an election. And, well, I guess we'll be canvassing votes anyway on the bond,
Right.
Mhm.
so. But I'm fine too, like if Andy's got I'm good. One of the new state laws is, as you know, we have to have 3 business days
Right.
posting, which is a complication with the weekends, it stretches it. But another new law is we have to have board meetings outside of the regular business day. We can't, a lot of school boards will
They're in
meet.
business school, they're in school.
Be at lunch and sometimes depending on who their board members are, they're, yes, but not anymore. I'm done.
Anything?
8:00, we get there.
We hurry and
So,
adjourn, we
I
did.
got anything else? Executive session or anything? Everybody good? We'll need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Andy makes a motion.
Second.
Cody seconds, all in favor?
I need Stephanie, Cody, and Andy to sign this sign-in sheet for the board training.